Hydrogen is extremely valuable when direct electrification is not possible or is complicated. In road passenger transport, there is now strong market momentum for battery electric vehicles. But hydrogen fuel cells vehicles have a role to play, particularly for long-distance heavy-duty road haul. The analysis underpinning our strategy found that for us to reach climate neutrality by 2050, hydrogen should provide around 20% of the transport fuel mix. Low-carbon synthetic fuels derived from hydrogen would need to contribute an additional 20% of the fuel mix. The potential is clear, but to fully exploit hydrogen, we need everyone pulling in the same direction.
Today, the cost of CO2 is not sufficiently internalized, and that's why clean technologies or clean energy is more costly than dirty energy. And I think bridging this gap, this economic gap, that will then automatically trigger investments is probably one of the most important things that need to happen. But the challenge is not just with investment. Our modeling also suggests that the technology diversification pathway comes at a lower total energy system cost. Specifically, we find that an approach that opens the door to a wide range of technologies allows to save European society up to 1 trillion euros over the next 30 years.
Europe really has an opportunity. It has a window of opportunity. We need to move fast because other parts of the world are moving just as fast, and we want to be the first to establish the market rules. We've said what we think should be the objective for 2030 and 2050 for clean hydrogen in the hydrogen strategy, but many people are starting to tell us that we may not be ambitious enough, and even for the 2030 we can maybe aim higher.
The study that we are discussing today makes clear that we need low carbon hydrogen, so we should now develop a suitable policy framework and a EU CCS strategy that scales up CCS by 2030. And I am calling the European Commission to launch the CCUS strategy and to set up of the CCUS forum as mentioned in the energy system integration strategy. Instead of waiting for renewable hydrogen capacity to suffice on its own, Europe can accelerate the deployment of both technologies in parallel, building on existing production methods and infrastructure, keeping options open and enabling fair competition between all potential clean hydrogen production pathways will be essential to ensure sufficient volumes, avoid market fragmentation, and delivering cost-efficient emission reduction across the EU.
A credible path, and I'll reinforce that, a credible path to decarbonisation will require more than just electrification. So harnessing the strengths of both electricity and gas will be the most efficient and fastest, I don't know if that's the fastest way to create a sustainable low carbon economy. You know, we are transforming ourselves to make sure that our products are climate neutral. But we absolutely need an enabling framework to achieve the goal. And one thing for me is absolutely clear, we need to establish the hydrogen market now. So whether it's hydrogen produced from renewable energies or natural gas, it really doesn't matter. What does matter is that, again, it's produced in a climate-friendly and efficient way.
This report is very much in the same direction. And IEA has been saying that in order to make this happen, governments need to move much stronger, more boldly and faster. And this is true for hydrogen as well in Europe. So we really need to have these regulatory frameworks put in place in the member states and in the EU that create clearly defined markets for clean hydrogen. And we need adequate support schemes to de-risk investment. Yes, there is a tremendous potential to produce green hydrogen, wind offshore, solar, and we have gas with CCS. But then the demand will be in a different place. So how do you connect the supply sources to the demand centers? That has to be transported, that hydrogen, across Europe. And that's why it's incredibly important that we repurpose the gas pipelines in Europe increasingly to transport the hydrogen across Europe.